Endless multiverse, endless multiverse, endless multiverse, episode 24. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Endless Multiverse, episode number 24, with your co-host Chainsaw Reaction Andy. And we're here today, and as you can tell, number one, I'm in a different location. What?
Hey yo,
Different location. And hold on a second, Andy.
what?
No camera? You had a camera on a second ago. What's going on here? What's happening?
I mean, it broke. Listen, I told you. Okay, Jordan. Okay, calm down. I told you this camera is like 4 years old. So what do you want me to do about it?
The show has a certain quality, and we keep our cameras on. So you better have a good explanation of why your camera's off.
Okay, well, I think that. Well, how about? Will this be a good reason enough for people? Okay, let's do a classic. There you go. Ah! Oh my gosh! My parents are gonna kill me when they see it. They're gonna be like, "Why did you just wait till we came home?" I'm like, "Oh, they don't live here, in my house." Oh my gosh. Okay, Hi. Wow, keep it like that. I'm like, listen, this head is dead. This hair needs to go. Let's see. Oh, for legal reasons, kids, we don't recommend you doing this at home. Oh my god, it's like look hideous. No, but people shave their heads all the time by themselves. Yeah. Look at this, y'all. Okay, I think we're done. So I'm gonna go shave my beard off, and I'm gonna clean this up. Hey yo!
He did it for the show because we got so much support last week for the show, guys. So we got so many super chats. A lot of you guys being there to support the show, and he decided he was going to do this. He shaved his head. No, Fernando. Nope. No.
It's a wonderful idea.
He recommended something, but no. We have something we want to actually mention real fast. Andy, take it away, because something is coming up pretty soon, and people need to be aware of it.
Yes. So you guys remember a couple of months ago, we had a special guest on A-List who is right now working on his campaign for Superman Solar. And there's a link in the video description below for his Indiegogo campaign.
What just happened? He just left. Andy, what happened?
I got kicked out. I
didn't kick you out. Anyways,
no. The stream got kicked me out. Not you. So our good buddy Andrew Liz, he has 4 days left on his Superman Solar campaign. And yeah, and they have reached 66% of their goal of getting funds together for their Superman fan film, which some good friends of mine are working on it. And if you guys are huge fans of A-list production, he's done amazing fan trailers. Chainsaw has been on his channel before. He was on his podcast, I think. Was it last?
I think it was last year. Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so we were spreading the word. So if you can donate as little as $1, any help is appreciated. So click in this link and in the video description, or I will post it in the chat. So you guys can go and support him and get him as close to the goal as possible, and let him know that we sent you, because he's a good friend of ours and he's such a great filmmaker and artist that we want to see this happen.
Mm-hmm.
So do it. You have 4 more days. They've hit 66% of their goal, and I just sent my pledge today on the small level. So if you go to the link, and there is like a list of like perks you get on which levels and so on. So yeah, any help is appreciated, and that's kind of what we wanted to, besides opening up with my ridiculousness of shaving my head. But because here's the thing, guys, this is gonna be a very rough show. It's gonna be a very rough show for a lot of reasons. We thought, you know what, we want you guys to get a little excited, a little fun, and so on. And we need a little. It's always good to smile before we get furious. We have a lot of thoughts, and my fingers are like super tired. And like, you all know what I did yesterday. Like, I have never like, not even an episode of the Flash podcast have I tweeted that much for an episode of the Flash. So it's been a week. So we hope that this will go support him. And if you want to relive, oh, thank you. You know what? Here's the thing. This was actually not as difficult as I thought it was going to be. And
you started in the back,
mm-hmm.
and then like, you see on the time lapse, he was all the way around, and
Jordan had to help me a lot. He had to chime in.
I put them like, okay, turn your head, hit here, because he can't see it. But yeah, you got all of it. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, my other machine started working like 3 hours afterwards. So I was
gotcha.
So Todd Helbing,
was it not actually charged?
It was charged, but I don't know why it didn't work. But Todd Helbing, if you're looking for a new Lex Luthor, I'm here at your service. But we have a super already from It's Scout About.
Thank you.
Scout About.
Thank you.
It's Scout About. My hope is that Warner Brothers Discovery actually has some concrete 10-year plans for DC, and that HBO Max scripted shows aren't canon, especially Original Sin and TSLO.
I don't know what that is. TSLO, I don't know.
What is TSL?
I don't even know. That's a long abbreviation.
Well,
thank you so much. We do have a lot of thoughts about this, and trust we are getting to that second for sure in terms of Warner Brothers Discovery. We'll definitely cover some of that stuff. But yes, there's a lot of things to unpack from that whole thing, because Andy covered the entire event. Oh God, no. But Andy covered the entire event. He watched the entire stream. He listened to all the Q&A, everything. So he knows what was said and what was not said, and what is being interpreted. He actually heard the words. Like I listened to a good part of it, but he was there the whole time. But trust me, we're going to get to it. But first, we have to get to something. But we have to start the show as always. Do you have it ready? Do you have it ready? Okay. As we start every show, as you know, Constantine, take it away.
All right then. On with the show.
On with the show, indeed. And we are starting with something that you guys saw me rant quite a bit on my YouTube video, plus a ton of tweets over the last number of days. We are talking about the cancellation of Batgirl. So this whole situation really is a disaster for a number of reasons. But this quote here that I want to read off first, that was of course, Batgirl herself, pictured there. On the heels of the recent news about our movie Batgirl, I am proud of the love, hard work, and attention to all of our incredible cast and tireless crew put into this film over 7 months in Scotland. I feel blessed to have worked among absolute greats and forged relationships for a lifetime in the process. To every Batgirl fan, thank you for the love and belief, allowing me to take on the cape and become, as Babs said best, my own damn hero. Oh, what?
Batgirl for life, and that's an emoji that didn't make it into the.
1 second. What? What? You need me? Oh.
Okay, all right. No worries. I will. I
You
will
take
over.
over. I'll be
Okay,
right
I will
back.
take over.
Apologies. I will definitely give my
Oh,
thoughts.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, so Batgirl for life, and that was supposed to be a Batgirl emoji right there, but I think my program just for some reason it didn't work. And guys, there's been so much coming out about the situation. There is a lot of course a lot of people making statements and comments about this. Social media just really exploded, honestly. It really exploded with a lot of shock and disappointment. Of course, there were of course some petty people out there, but it's and there's been a lot of different reasoning for what has caused this. One reported fact has been that this was for a tax right cut, tax off, and there were reports about negative test screenings, which is weird because I had someone who went to one of those and they said the film wasn't that bad. Like it was enjoyable. There was reports about that it wasn't, they couldn't see it hitting that targeted projections in the box office, or, for analytically, because this okay. So what was confirmed once and for all was that this film was never going to be put in theater. This was always going to be an HBO Max original. Blue Beetle so far was the only one that got shifted from HBO Max to theatrical, and then now we have to pray for that movie too. But there's been I'm pulling up the statement and that they said, and again, again, here's the thing. I will say that I completely understand so many people's, um, thoughts and opinions about this. So the initial statement from a Warner Bros. Spokesperson said that the decision to not release Batgirl reflects our leadership strategic shift as it relates to the DC Universe and HBO Max. Leslie Gray is an incredibly talented actor, and this decision is not a reflection of her performance. We're incredibly grateful of the filmmakers of Batgirl and also canceled Scoop, Holiday Haunt, and the respective cast, and we hope to collaborate with everyone again in the near future. And the directors have come out, they have spoken about this, and there's been there's been people who, other actors in the film that has also commented on their disappointment, but also their their gratitude of getting to take on some of these characters. And there's just been such an after effect for so much of this. And so while we're waiting for Jordan to come back, I guess I can start with my thoughts, which is that this is extremely shocking. I've never seen anything like this in Hollywood. For terms of like it's been TV shows or movies, and we know that Warner Bros. Isn't Warner Bros. Discovery. It's still in its aftermath of um its merger. So there's still a lot of layoffs happening. There's a lot of changes going on behind the scenes, which we'll talk about at the quarterly call, earnings call later on. But what happened was what I'm so sad about is that it is the erasure of what could have been a phenomenal franchise for DC and Warner Bros. Welcome back, Jordan. I listed out some of the factors that got the movie canceled. I'm just giving out my opinions on my disappointment.
I wish I was here. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Hope it's okay. But yeah, it was hurtful because as a brown man, I don't see myself very often. This year was very rough. I told this to Jordan, I think, on the same day when it happened. Like, I lost my only two Persian superheroes on Legends Tomorrow. Now we lost Batgirl, and that's also the loss of an Afro Latina superhero. And now I have to worry about Blue Beetle. And I'm just like, Warner Bros. Stop taking my brown superheroes. And
Yeah.
I think I'm glad that at least people have been paid, but the same time, this is such a disrespect to the integrity of art and
Mhm.
the process of filmmaking and bringing something to life that that they had to film this during a pandemic. Like, again, we big reminder that the global pandemic is not over. People are still having to wear masks, get vaccinated, get tested almost every day. So the fact that we don't now get to see this is it's very hurtful, and to see the narrative online that people are saying that, well, it got canceled because it's woke. If it's woke to have an Afro Latina playing Batgirl, then you're basically a racist. Then you're basically saying that anytime something that isn't white or straight, it is woke, and that means that we don't us minority groups, we don't exist to you. We shouldn't get to have a platform. We should get to be told, have our stories told on the big screen, and we shouldn't get the chance to take on some of these iconic roles like Leslie was going to do. So it is, I say this sincerely. I say this very sincerely from the bottom of my heart. Fuck yourself if you're calling this woke. But yeah, I'm hoping that, I know that reportedly from the Hollywood Reporter, Leslie Grace and the directors are in talks with Warner Brothers for new deals. What that might be, if it's for new projects or if it's for somehow like finding like a middle ground of still getting the film out. And I don't know yet. We don't know yet, but it is. This sent a shockwave through Hollywood. I've never seen anything like this, and I hope to never see anything like this again. But I feel like with the restructuring of the studio, like I feel like there's still a lot of scary moves to happen. And also, let me just move you over here. There we go. And so, Jordan, I know you've been pissed off, like,
I was ready to go. I had
Yeah.
to go deal with a cricket in the house. It was a giant cricket. I had to go.
Oh, I
kill.
hate crickets.
Oh,
So
and trust me,
good on you for saving her.
I could have gotten it killed within 20 seconds, but it kept being just. Ugh. So I was getting more and more upset because I wanted to get back here. So before I got pulled away, I was going to get into my thoughts because I was on the phone with Andy. I don't know if he addressed this when he was discussing, because I was away for the majority of what he was talking about, unfortunately. But we were on the phone when the news first broke from New York Post, and we didn't believe it at first. And then once we got the phone call, that's when the Wrap reported on it. And then that's when Deadline, Variety, all these places started to post about it. And I lost my shit. Partly due because it's Batgirl. I was so excited and also kind of cautious because it's a very important character to me. My love for the Bat family, or as a whole, it's Batman, and then literally right below is Batgirl. I love and care for this character so much. So the fact that they canceled her film is just beyond stupidity for so many different reasons. But on top of that, we also can't forget they also canceled a Scooby-Doo animated film that they were actually almost close to getting that done than Batgirl, and that got scrapped at the same time. And we heard from David Zaslav saying that he wanted to protect DC. He wants to protect that brand. And he didn't have faith in the film. That's why it was scrapped, because it was asked by Batgirl during the investors call. He was asked about it, and he said they will put out films they are behind 100%. And Batgirl was a film they did not greenlight. I understand that. But the idea of protecting DC, I'm sorry, David Zaslav, DC is in a bad place right now overall. If you look at the film slate, their films have been up and down like a roller coaster. Some hit, some don't. And TV-wise, it's the same thing. We can sit here and talk about The Flash, but we both have our criticisms on the show. And the other DC shows have been hit or miss with people as well. DC is not this high, amazing thing that is on a pedestal of gold. It's not. There's been a lot of stuff that has come out that isn't the best. And so the idea of Batgirl didn't test well, even though it has been stated that Batgirl tested as well as the first It film, and it was testing around the same as Shazam! Fury of the Gods, which is going to be releasing, it kind of worries me that if you're not reaching a certain standard to Warner Brothers, even if you put all this time and effort and work into a project, they will scrap it. It sets a really uncomfortable and dangerous precedent that at any point your project could be pulled from their company. And there's a reason why I wore a Marvel shirt, because as of right now, they have not scrapped a project that they were in development for, and that they, in terms of got shooting, they released their products. And so the idea of that Batgirl cannot be released now because of a tax write-down is ridiculous, because they could realistically still release the movie under HBO Max. They still could have. But however, they're like, we're not even going to give it a shot. And I'm not even sitting there saying they should put it in theaters and hope for the best, because I was telling Andy on the phone, it is a gamble when you put out a film. It's always a gamble.
Yeah.
They didn't know Aquaman was going to make $1 billion, but it did. They thought Justice League was going to make $1 billion. Justice League did not make $1 billion, not even close.
They took a risk with something like Game of Thrones back in the day.
Yeah.
Where they were popular books.
And the first pilot was complete shit. They almost completely abandoned the project, but they reshot that pilot of Game of Thrones, and then it was successful. But that first pilot was horrible. Like, I think only like 5 or 10% of the original pilot is in that second pilot that we got to see.
We have a super chat from Victor, by the way, I want to bring up. Do you see these affect the Arrowverse future?
Yeah.
Yes and no, because like it's that Victor, we will get to that in a bit, and so because right now I want to make sure that we can get our thoughts about Batgirl out there cohesively. Another reason that they were scrapping something like Batgirl is that they want DC theatrical to be on a scale that is more of an event film, but it's like not everything has to be Avengers Endgame,
Exactly.
And I look at this very much as from the diversity standpoint that is hurtful, because I'm just like, they're just taking all of my brown superheroes. Like, again, I was talking to one of my good members of the DC podcast now, where I'm like, we don't exist. We don't exist. If you're queer, we don't exist. If we're brown, we don't exist. It's just like I grew up, like, I love DC and Marvel. Don't get me wrong, I love them both. But I grew up as a DC kid from the beginning. Like, my first set of toys were the Batmobile from the Batman animated series. I had this beloved Robin figure, and I watched so much DC growing up. I loved DC over and over and over again. So it was rough already to deal with this about with the lack of presence at Comic-Con, which again, we can both understand it, but also it is very frustrating. And then all of this happens, and I just, again, because now I'm like, I really have to worry about Blue Beetle, because I'm like, what, because they just finished filming like a month ago. Again,
and the fact that Blue Beetle was not even mentioned once during the investors call, like, that's not a good sign. And I understand that the film was going to be originally HBO Max, that they switched this to.
They didn't mention Aquaman either, which I thought was weird. So
so there's certain things they're not mentioning, but I mean, I think Blue Beetle might have a better shot because it's going theatrical, because they did switch that months ago. But
and thankfully, before they started filming, so that it wasn't like, well, we approved this, we reported this, we approved this budget for an HBO Max movie, we can't do it on theatrical. But so that way, at least that before they started filming, they're like, okay, it's gonna be theatrical. That means that you're gonna have to reshift the budget. So
I'm hopeful, but I'm still at this point, I'm not trusting anything. They've already canceled 3 things. They've canceled 2 films. They've canceled a 3rd season of a TV show that I have never even heard of before on HBO Max, but it was an animated show, and it was the 3rd season was completely finished, and they still scrapped it for tax.
And they've silently taken off a couple of movies.
Yep.
And
they're probably going to take away more, because it's stuff that's not performing well, and it's going to be stuff that's going to be a tax write-off. So I'm guessing for them, if they would have released Batgirl, they thought that it would cost them more money than they would actually earn from it being on HBO Max, which it's always a gamble. You never know. You will see Keaton in the Flash if it ever releases. But anyways, we can sit here and talk for a while. We'll definitely get some more back on the Q&A, but Jennifer, thank you so much.
Hi, Jennifer.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Oh,
hello,
Jennifer, I cannot wait for you to rewatch this movie. We were to like was anything different about me, Jennifer? We have another super chat from it's Scout about just to make $1 billion because of, I'm not gonna say his name. I also agree. I love queer representation, whether MLM, VLB. I know bi.
I'm not sure.
I'm bi and non-binary, so I love it tomorrow, and that gutted me. Yeah,
Well, to your first point, it didn't make $1 billion not because of that person. It didn't make $1 billion because it wasn't a good movie.
Yeah,
that's why. Let's be honest. And there was a lot of people that were disregarding it anyways because Zach didn't finish it.
Yeah,
there was a lot of things against it. It wasn't just that individual.
Yeah, exactly. But it was definitely, it definitely played, I think, a factor. But you're right, not like the number one reason. But it's so this next thing, and I think this is what we're going to be kind of talking about a lot going forward for for a good bit of the show now. So I mean, is there anything else you want to say about Batgirl?
We can definitely talk more in the Q&A. We've
Oh,
so it's okay.
okay. Well, okay. So yesterday was the major Warner Brothers Discovery Q2 earnings call, and I covered. I guess I must have covered it to a length that many people were not expecting because my interactions are still not shutting up. Like I had to turn off my phone. I had to put my phone on flight mode today, just about now, Jordan, because people are like, there's still people like reacting, whatever. But I lied to you the whole thing. So if you want, I will post. I will post a link to that thread in the chat. So, but yeah, they talked a lot about but what's coming for the new merged company. David Zaslav was one of the attending members, of course, on the call, and they talked a lot about what has been successful, what they are trying to avoid. They use certain words quite a lot of times.
Yep.
Diverse content, y'all. And I just like kill me now already because I don't know. I don't think you understand what that word means. And now, okay, maybe we should have talked about it before because there's so much to break down from this. And I will say this as someone listening to, and that was like the longest 2 hours ever. I was, and I couldn't drink anything. I couldn't drink no water. I barely put on the fan because I needed to. Uh,
Pay
I
attention.
yeah, because I wanted to hear everything that was going on. But some of the things that they were talking about was that David talked about the process of merging the two companies and the long process of getting there. And they're celebrating a lot of the new hirings, some of the new heads of the Warner Brothers films. And he made it very clear that he still sees a lot of room for improvement as the first steps going forward. And talk about wanting to making a lot more additional adjustments, which like he definitely talked about throughout the show. Very much celebratory of the 193 Emmy nominations for Warner Bros. Discovery, which good job, good job, good
Woo.
job. And they were praising their performances at upfronts, and that they have only started scratching the surface of their path for Warner Bros. Discovery, and that they want to seek the best storytellers to help create the most diverse content there is. And that was where DC was mentioned to a good extent, that DC is something that he treasures a lot.
Sure he does. Sure.
Sure, Jan, sure, Jan.
Sure.
And that their focus is making great content that they want to watch, and that consumers want to watch and want to pay for. And he was shouting out House of the Dragon, Ted Lasso, about Elementary as type of content that resonates with consumers. Which I'm like, but House of the Dragons has not even come out yet. But and that apparently is one of the most expensive campaigns that HBO has done in its entire existence, which makes me wonder what.
Also, he's shouting out shows that are not even on Warner Bros. Discovery platforms.
Well, Ted Lasso's on Apple Plus, yes, but it's still Warner Bros. Show.
Yeah, but it's just kind of interesting how he's shouting out a show that is not on one of their platforms that's helping it grow their brand in terms of their streaming platform or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the Batman and Elvis were among the titles that exemplify of what they want to embrace more of for the theatrical release. They want to really they spoke heavily about they want to see more embracing of theatrical. And yes, there was confirmation that HBO Max and Discovery Plus will be coming together as one service. I love that we kind of
merging as one. And we thought this was going to happen sooner rather than later, but actually it's happening summer of next year, the merging.
Yeah, exactly. So a certain disgraced Rudolph was lying through her teeth. If you all don't know who she is, look up some of the DC films directors that have shut
Look up a picture of pancakes flopping. You'll find out.
I'm so proud of that one.
Yes, you are.
And we also had JB Parrott, the CEO and president of Global Streaming and Gaming, and he talked about that. that they were very much focusing on launching both their ad-free and ad-light models, and that the thing that got everyone very frustrated. This is where I noticed, oh no, my thread is blowing up. Is that the unique and complementary display of HBO Max and Discovery Plus, and what they are kind of defining that HBO Max is more male skew and Discovery Plus is more female skew, and I have the image in front of me.
I guess
And
the thinking is that they want to merge that they're thinking, but literally,
yeah, but it's like the fact that they are looking at those properties, at those two platforms as like, well, Discovery Plus is obviously where we get our most female demographics, and
and that may be true. I don't know. It may be.
I don't know. I don't think it's true. I think it's an exaggeration because I had a lot of people who work in marketing respond to this tweet and saying that this is the biggest bullshit display they've ever seen of a presentation ever. And they were celebrating a lot of their IPs with the the 90-day fiance universe being something that people were like, what the fuck is this? There's a lot of numbers, guys, and I'm gonna straight up be honest with y'all. Numbers and I are like not the best of friends. So, but they also put out the rollout schedule for the stream. You know, the kind of the merge services and so on. US will obviously start next summer, and Latin America will be in fall 2023. Europe early 2024, and etc. etc. And I guess things we can talk. You know, they have gotten up to 92 million subscribers, and they're expecting to get up to 130 million global by 2025. And then the morning's stock report came out. But you know, I'm not gonna say anything about that. I guess what we can talk about is something I think when it comes to DC, because you guys really want to know mostly about what's going on with DC. Something that I noticed there was one screenshot I put up when they were looking at their quarter two results. So there was three tabs: Studios, Networks, and TTC, digital something C. Underneath Studios, Warner Brothers Pictures, DC. Underneath Studios, and then New Line Cinema, and then Warner Brothers Animation Group, and that got a lot of people's attention. David Zaslav wouldn't specifically; he never said the word DC Studio, but he's very much implying that they have. And I know Jordan's gonna like make sure that his eyes doesn't fall out of his eyeballs doesn't fall out of his eye sockets, because he's gonna roll until next century. They spoke heavily about a 10-year plan for DC going forward, having now recently boarded Alan Horn from Disney as a consulting part, and that they only want to release films unless they won't release a film unless they believe in it, and they seek to grow the DC brand and its characters, but also protect them. And they mentioned titles like Black Adam, Shazam 2, and Flash as upcoming titles that he's very excited about. And when it came to the additional statements of Batgirl, which I know it didn't make people any less calm with him. It was just very much about that if they just simply didn't believe in it, and that we're not going to launch a movie until it's ready. We're not going to launch a movie to make a quarter, and we're not going to put a movie out unless we believe in it. The objective is to grow the DC brand, to grow the characters, but also our job is to protect the DC brand, and that's what we're going to do. And I could just see him in front of me, just wanting to dodge that question, because he sounded very uncomfortable. Which I'm like, well, David, you're the one who did this. Like, you need to expect you need to allow the press to be able to ask these kind of things. We need to be allowed to question your choices like this when you decide to, you're talking about diverse content, but then I need a drink.
It's okay.
You just had to fuck up.
Yeah. So Jennifer has 2 super chats. She noticed that your shave. She also wanted to go on and thank you so much, Jennifer, for this super chat, saying this very pissed about what happened to Batgirl. She wanted to see JJ and James' performance as Commissioner Gordon, and wanted to see Michael Keaton as Batman because it's Michael Keaton. Sorry for swearing. I'm just pissed off. No, I understand. We're all pissed off. Trust me. We're all pissed off. And like he was saying just now about the investors thing, that they didn't believe in the film and they want to protect DC, and yeah. it's a lot to take in. And Jennifer, we all share your pain. Trust me, we all share your pain, because it's not fair what happened to that film. It's not fair what happened to Scooby-Doo, and it's not going to be fair to whatever else they decide to cancel. In regards to
And I will add this so that people, because I know there's been false narrative. Sorry, there's been false narrative online about that there was implications that something more had been canceled. No, as of yesterday, nothing else has been canceled as a part of this call. There was no, there were talks about animation having somewhere up a cut down, but they're not seizing animation, because Warner Bros. Animation Group was featured of those celebrating IPs and stories, and
we know of 4 DC animated films they're putting out next year in regards to their continuing of the new what's called the Tomorrowverse, as they're calling it now, of the new timeline of properties, and also other animated projects. I mean, they just put out Green Lantern, Beware My Power. They still have more films coming out this year and next year in regards to DC. So we know that they're not completely cutting it, but just don't be surprised, guys, if you hear of things that we're releasing and they're no longer making them, because they are cutting down on things. Because I feel like ultimately we're gonna have animation from Warner Brothers Discovery.
Yeah.
It's not going to be as much, it seems, for right now. Things could change in a couple years. They could be in a better place to put out more, and I feel like that's what's going to happen. They're going to slowly build back up, as David Zaslav would see, the correct way in order to actually get back. Because I bet within a couple years we'll start seeing streaming films being made for streaming for the new service. But for right now, the strategy they're trying to fix, because they did mention that call, they had paid back $6 billion out of the debt that Warner Brothers was in.
Yeah.
Already. And that will be finalized within August this month. So the idea that they've already paid back a huge chunk of debt, and the unfortunate part is the axing, David Zaslav's axe, cutting things down because of that. And unfortunately, Batgirl is unfortunately a part of that in regards to getting money back to pay off the debt that they were in from AT&T. It was a whole thing. I'm not sure if Warner Brothers was actually in debt when AT&T bought them years ago, but they definitely were not handling it well over the last number of years. So it's a whole mess.
Yeah, franchise that I will say this, that when I look at the picture again of their global powerhouse and their franchise that they were highlighting, Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman was part of that. The Trinity, and the Harry Potter was the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, definitely Cartoon Network and Looney Tunes, things like that, and and the thing is, like, they say that there's going to be another call later this year, and they say that they definitely want to. I bet you he has. What if he has a daughter named Gracie Zaslav?
I would hope so.
Yeah, but like, so there will be more information to come out. But yeah, as of right now, there is nothing else canceled. There is nothing else, and there's not been any determination on, like, because I know, because here's the thing. While I was covering all this, I also had to answer questions to everyone because I was like, okay, I get your concern. Like, people were like, they just said, Superman Lois canceled, so on. Like, what's happening with the this. I'm like, guys, calm down. This is not what is going on. I was at the biggest shock of this was that there was not even and maybe I should have done this. There was not a single question about the future of CW, which because we know that as of right now, the last official thing we heard was in June, which is that. And Nexstar has been in the final stages of purchasing it, and the percentage is going to be 75% Nexstar, and then 25% Warner Brothers and Paramount, which is then, I guess, would be 12.5%.
Yeah,
to each
basically.
company.
Jennifer, we did answer your part 1 and part 2. We did look at them about your frustration of Batgirl and everything, and trust me, Michael Keaton, you're going to get him in the Flash, but it's unfortunate that we lost him actually interacting with Batgirl. It's really unfortunate because we could have seen that. That'd been really cool. And I don't know, maybe we'll see something else about that. But
what is your takeaway from all of this that went down yesterday? Because you're angry. I can tell you're angry.
Yeah. But yeah, well, we did, Jennifer, and it's a whole situation. But essentially, the whole investor call, I was worried that it was going to be a lot worse than what it was. I didn't expect him to outright cancel stuff on the call, but I just feel that just certain things he was saying in the call that I heard, and then other things that you were reporting and other people were reporting that were being said, and people actually pulling audio bits from from him talking and answering questions that I didn't hear.
Which might be illegal, by the way. I would not recommend doing that.
Yeah, I'm not. I didn't do it, but people are
No,
posting.
no, no. Did I say your name? I did not
Yes,
blame
you
it on you. I know. No, yes, it's all your fault. All
but-
Gracie's fault.
All Gracie's fault. Gracie.
Gracie.
But it was a whole mess, and I feel like he could have handled it a lot better. And I think, based on the wording he used, guys, I'm just warning you now. Things under the because people are asking this under the HBO banner, specifically like House of the Dragon, the upcoming The Last of Us, the PlayStation game that's being turned into a show. Things like that under HBO are, I presume, to be safe in regards to that's product being made for the HBO network that will, of course, be intertwined into HBO Max and, of course, the new service. Anything that was being made under the HBO Max banner, that has a higher likely chance to not continue, but it's based on really viewership and if people are actually watching it, because that's why 6 films were removed quietly over the last little bit from HBO Max, because nobody was watching it. So they took them off and to stop paying certain fees and stuff to get the tax write down, to earn some money back, because when they put content on a service, they have to pay certain licensing and certain things to people because they're on the service. If you take them down and don't use them anymore, and since they were for HBO Max, then they're getting a tax write down because the content is no longer being viewed on a service or anything of that sort. So it's a whole mess. So don't be surprised if we just don't hear of a show on HBO Max that's an HBO Max original continuing. I think that's why I think it was called, it was like Wolves or something. It was an HBO Max original series, something Wolves. I forget, but it was Ridley Scott was the a producer on it, and it got 2 seasons, and the show got canceled and did not come back for a third. And I believe it got canceled around the time the merger was complete.
Raised by Wolves.
Yeah, Raised by Wolves. And so I feel like stuff like that is going to occur. We've been hearing Peacemaker is fine, even though I'm not going to watch the show, but Peacemaker season 2, people have been asked about that. I feel like that is a guaranteed thing you're going to get because James Gunn, that show did really well for HBO Max. And Warner Brothers Discovery would have to be even beyond stupid, even though they already are stupid. They had to be beyond stupid to not let that show continue because it was really, really popular.
And what's worth noting is that, like, I think that when certain shows premiered on HBO Max, let's say last year, the year before, we need to remember that HBO Max just started late last year started rolling out more foreign countries. Like I know, like in the Scandinavians, HBO Nordic was converted to HBO Max, for example. So wait, what happened? I mean, guys, if you want me to react to Peacemaker on the channel, I'm sure we can make that happen. I don't know. I don't know how I have to find like a Peacemaker beanie, so I can cosplay as Jordan and what he would assume it look like. But I think that now that HBO exists in more countries, I think there's more safety for some things to actually like go on and exist and so on. Like for example, like one show that I think could actually be saved for another season. So I know that in Europe, Titans actually airs on Netflix. They come out on Netflix. They don't go on HBO or HBO Max. So I would say that, so I think it could be like okay, so like let's take the CW for example. We know that some of the shows that they always kept renewing were the shows that went to Netflix right after they had aired their latest seasons. Now with something like Netflix being more available than maybe HBO Max in most countries, that's likely to give Titans a bigger push, and that's why they probably keep coming back. And I think Titans will be good till season 5, and then I think that's when they kind of like gonna either spin off or wrap it up and so on. Because I think that I am not gonna wear a Peacemaker helmet because I do not want to know what the fuck to get one because that looks so expensive, Jordan Kent. But so for example, like something like that, like if they have Netflix deals already, I think they may be more safe. Now something like I'm trying to think of a good example. Let's say something like Harley Quinn, which is only on HBO Max in most countries. Maybe that could be a bigger danger for animation and so on. But again,
Young Justice,
Young Justice. And here's the thing: I think that this week was not a good example. This was not a good example of what this company should look like. But I also don't flat out believe that they're just gonna massively axe and swing the axe of Sazlon so insanely much because they still need to have content to air. And some things are if they already further into their seasons and and they also they're run as series and they have fan base that are established that they can easily they also need to just learn how to market better because if there's something that Warner just needs to market to learn more of, they need to market better uh, in general.
Yeah.
So I would say that but yeah, this week was scary. I absolutely understand the anger and frustration, and I'm sure my anger will likely come out later. But because I had to just be like, I've just been in work mode all week, so I haven't even had time to process anything emotion. Batgirl was the thing that I got most emotional about, because I was like, this has to be a joke. This cannot just be this cannot be possible. But I I'm sure that we're gonna learn more throughout the fall and early next year. But as of right now, I
He
just
froze.
I'm froze. Hello, guys, can you hear me or can you only hear him? Oh boy, Jordan,
Are we back?
you froze on me.
You froze on me too. I don't know what happened.
It's Felicity Smoke hacking from the
Back?
beyond the graves.
Real quick, let's read this real fast before we jump to the next topic. I feel like if Marvel were to do to this, say like maybe a Hawkeye movie that's actually on Clint, we get more controversy, and that's already does a lot of controversy. Um, yeah, I would agree. I feel like if Marvel did something like this, it would be especially. I mean, I think maybe worse because Marvel has more of a track record of releasing content than DC over the last number of years. So yeah,
The only thing that ever got canceled really was just the Inhumans movie, Restored Inhumans.
yeah,
But it was
and
just a
that
movie
didn't
that
even
got
get
canceled.
to a shooting phase. Like at least that wasn't like shot or something. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
it was dead way before they even got close to even all that. But good point because yeah, Marvel would be in the same boat, and I feel like Marvel they put their faith and work behind every project. I feel like in this instance they just didn't give Batgirl a chance, and it's just ridiculous.
now we have a brief DC film to talk about before we get to our final.
Yes, something that I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not that excited for it. I'm not for a number of reasons. It's a little thing called Joker 2. That's interesting artwork,
Yeah,
but
it's from the promo where so basically it's like a little music montage,
yeah,
and you see the name Phoenix, then the name Gaga, and then you see them dancing together, and then confirming that the date of the movie, which Jordan is about to tell y'all.
which is October 4th, 2024. You're probably wondering, okay, so Chainsaw, why are you not excited for this movie? It's simple, even though it's interesting that Lady Gaga's in the movie. Did they confirm Harley Quinn? She's playing Harley Quinn?
She's Harley. Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's my thing. Joker did not need a sequel. Now, if this is like a kind of sequel, but not really, they're just having fun with the whole idea of Joaquin's Joker. I don't know. My thing is the way the movie progresses, the way they tell their story. I just don't see how this is going to work. But I think because they're approaching it so differently that they're going to try to like get away from the typical trope of
Sequel for the sake of sequel.
yeah, like I think with the approach of the musical thing and the idea of it, the rumor, of course, we hear rumors, but the idea of it being an Arkham Asylum or just the fact that it's a musical, they're singing to each other, it's very different than
The thing that Rap said that it will most likely be. Yeah, and it's
okay.
which is so weird that
So
because that Arkham hasn't really been.
The other villains.
We could see other villains. We could see other villains like before they go and become what they're supposed to be. And like the thing that was just so interesting to me in Joker is that Arkham is just so. I don't know what's the right political word to use here, but it looked so normal.
Mm-hmm.
And Arkham is supposed to be it's supposed to have this kind of gory feeling to it, kind of like almost like something that is haunted and terrifying. But sorry, go on.
And I just like this point here too about Phoenix is very careful with the movies, and Phoenix has never done a sequel before. Joaquin Phoenix, so the idea of Joaquin Phoenix doing this is interesting. That and tells me that the script is very unique, because he only signed on for one film. So the
Yeah.
idea of him doing a sequel to Joker, especially with how that, like, he knows, like, because he read the script, he was a part of it. Of course, he was the lead. He knows that that's a very unique story that really didn't need a sequel. So I'm guessing whatever story that, that was approached to him had to be different than what he was expecting. Because if it was a typical sequel, he wouldn't have said yes. In terms of like a standard sequel.
I was gonna say, I think it could be. I mean, again, with someone like Lady Gaga signing on, like, that gives me a little more faith in it as well. And I would be interested to see because if it's supposed to be a musical inside Arkham Asylum, I think that could be very, very intriguing, because that's it's almost like a bottle movie instead of a bottle episode, if you know what I mean. Because what would the political plot be at this point? Because in Joker, because I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Todd Phillips was definitely using Joker as a way to talk about the underclass groups in society. So I wonder what they might do in the sequel, because they're always going to try to go for Oscars again, which Joaquin Phoenix was phenomenal. He was a phenomenal as Arthur Fleck, which if you take A and put it in front of Fleck, it gets to Affleck. But what it's sad that right now we seem to just have mostly Batman content. We're getting to Batman 2, which I'm excited for, but Batman 2, Joker 2, we have Gotham Knights as a video game. We still, and we have Titus being used as like a semi-Batman show. The thing is, I need Warner Bros. and David Zaslav to start trusting their other properties. Like we need a Superman movie needs to be back in theaters already. And with Wonder Woman, like after Wonder Woman 3, we still need to have a sequel trilogy or something, because Wonder Woman is, we had to wait so long for her story to be told. And so I'm hoping that they really know what they're doing with this. I will of course watch it, and I'm sure as disgruntled as Jordan is, he will too.
I see. I didn't watch Joker in the theaters. I saw the film. I reacted to it for Patreon back in my Patreon days, and I remember when the first trailer dropped, I was like, before I watched it, like, I don't know, we'll see. And then I was blown away. I was like, wow, this is a very interesting take. And I should have known, because Joaquin Phoenix is Joaquin Phoenix, so I should have known it was going to be insane and really well done in terms of portraying the character. And then the movie was quite special. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again. I just feel like it was like a film that I've seen it, and that's it. I never watched the Joker at all. I mean, I recommend it at least once. You need to see it at least once. But yeah.
But I don't know what Joker 3 will be about, but ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest joining us live from California at Burbank Studio, head of Discovery Public Relations, Mr. Canagraphs.
Hi everybody, thanks for having me here. I know you guys are excited about all the upcoming moves we have in store for you. We would like to announce some new changes.
Okay.
We have acquired the Endless Multiverse.
The Endless.
We are proud to announce that its final season will be this week. We are looking forward to new ventures with them. We would also like to announce that we'll be starting a new podcast called The Ended Multiverse with the two whitest guys we can find. So look for that soon. We're trying to find someone to work with Ezra Miller, but we will have that out for you soon.
I just love Discovery Public Relations Manager. I just love that. That is fantastic.
So with that, what an intro!
What a way to start! Wow.
Well, we're gonna move on to our final topic, which is a major reason why Mr. CG is here. So glad you have to join us. So, ladies and gentlemen, after a lot of supposed speculations, but also kind of like this was anticipated, The Flash season 9 has been confirmed. Oh my God, this Earth.
Earth is always there. I'll move it.
Okay, it's been confirmed by the CW and Warner Bros. Television that The Flash 9 will be the series' final season on the CW. It will have a 13-episode order, just like CG categorized predicted with the production listings that went out roughly a week ago. It will be back for 13 episodes in 2023. There has been no specific premiere date set, but it's looking somewhere like towards late winter, early spring, so. But we have some statements from first of all from Mr. Eric Wallace. 9 seasons, 9 years of saving Central City while taking audience on an emotional journey full of heart, humor, and spectacle. And now Barry Allen has reached the starting gate for his last race. So many people have given their talents, time, and love to bring this wonderful show to life each week. So as we get ready to honor the show's incredible legacy with our exciting final chapter, I want to say thank you to our phenomenal cast, writers, producers, and crew over the years who helped make the Flash such an unforgettable experience for audiences around the world. And then earlier today, the boy that will make all of us cry, Mr. Grant Gustin, Barry Allen himself, because this is where I broke. I broke after 5 days. He went on Instagram, get this boy does not age, which I hate him for, but also love him for.
Facial hair going.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing that will remind me that, he's like 2 years older than me. This week, we announced that season 9 of The Flash will be the final season, which is bittersweet. It's been incredible, nearly 10 years of playing this character and getting to be part of the show with an amazing cast and crew and such love from you guys, from the fans, people who love the show. It's the only reason we got to do this as long as we have. And I'm very excited to do this one final year, finish on our terms, and I'm going to enjoy every minute of it as much as I can. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting the show and allowing us to go as long as we have, and I could not be more honored to be associated with this character probably for the rest of my life and career. And this again, Flash will mark when the Flash has finished its final season, it will still be the longest running Arrow series on the CW. Fuck you, Arrow, you're still dead, and you're still Stevie, you're our guest, so I think Jordan.
I clicked on the thing.
You put it up again.
I'm kidding.
I'm kidding. I accidentally clicked it twice.
Exactly.
CJ, you're a guest, so I think you should get to share your thoughts first on this being now properly once and for all. We know this is the final season, and it was not canceled. If I hear one more bitch on the internet going, "If that was canceled," then I will drag you to the next century and learn how to report right. So, what are your thoughts, CG?
I can't believe they canceled this. But no, seriously, I think for a while, I mean, I've been still of the assumption that a season 10 was always a possibility because that number of 200 episodes is just a juicy number for producers and everybody involved with it to go for. But for them to have done that, they would have had to have like a 17 episode season this year. And I always thought like that's a 50-50 chance because we'd heard all the rumblings about Grant's 15 episode deal, which clearly we now know to be inaccurate. But when I also heard of the mergers and Nexstar and all this stuff going on at once, there's a large piece in the back of my mind that's like this might be it. Like they might not get a choice. They might be told, hey, we're giving you one last season. I also think Grant probably, we also heard the negotiations back at the time where they apparently had offered him a 2-year deal and he declined and wanted to just do a 1-year deal. I understand from the business aspect why he does that. He's looking to get the 1-year deal, and if he wants out, he can still get out. And if he wants to come back for a 10th, he gets a raise. So, I understand from a business aspect, but I think there's probably a point somewhere in the last 4 months or so he finally just had that moment where he's like, I think I'm ready to move on. And, he probably told Eric, told the studio. I believe they probably already were kind of in the mindset of like, we're 50-50 on whether we want to do a 10th. And then he just came in and was kind of like, I feel I'm ready to move on. And they, as a whole, decided, I guess we're done at 9.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That said, I mean, it's with everything that's happened recently with my company. who knows? I mean, he might have woke up that morning and not realized he was out of a job. But I actually doubt that's the case. I think this is one of those ones where they probably had some input from Grant. I've seen a lot of people online. They're like, "Oh, Grant and Candace must have decided." I understand there's a lot of Candace fans, but she has never a thought on whether this show does another season or not. At no point. Her, Danielle, Jesse, the newcomers, none of them have input on whether they do another season. Grant would. If Grant says he's not doing it, there's not another season. Doesn't matter if Candace wants to sign on for 7 Skittles. Like, they're not doing it. So I do believe in the end, this is probably a decision that at least Grant agreed with. Maybe he didn't have the full say, but he at least agreed with the decision. And, all the parties kind of were just like, all right, we've got 13 episodes. What do we do now?
I wouldn't be surprised the same kind of situation with Melissa for Supergirl in terms of how
Melissa was 100% the situation. Because if you've seen some of the interviews that came out after the show has wrapped, like Kyler and Ozzy have done interviews where they thought they were getting another season and were told, well, the season was shooting. No, this is the end, by the way.
Yeah. Jesse Raff and Nicole Mays were at a con back in UK in April, and they said that because Melissa wouldn't want to do it, initially the showrunners were trying to pitch a season 7
season without her.
Which I'm just like Jessica, shut up, don't do that. But
at the end of the day, though, when you're a showrunner, your job is just to keep your thing going so that you stay employed.
Yeah, that's fair. I was kidding. I was kidding.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting for sure to kind of find out this final season and the wording he used, Grant, in his video as you read it out. And I noticed it like really strong when you were reading it, Andy, was the wording of we're ending it on our own terms, that we've made this decision. Like he used that very specifically because, like I said, there's a lot of things going around saying the show was canceled. It wasn't. But the fact is that I'm pretty sure when they were in there to discuss season 9, there were potential talks early on, probably in terms of signing them all on. This may be the final season. And Grant's a father now, so he's in a very different place than he was when he signed up and he was all excited to get this show. It was overwhelming. He's done interviews where he felt the weight on his shoulders. Like he felt very like tense in terms of season 1. He was so worried he was going to fail. He was so worried he was going to let people down.
Yeah, it was like 22 or 24.
Yeah,
like he was like, we were pretty much all the same age.
Yeah, so he
started
was
watching.
In a very different place in his life. I mean, he got onto Arrow for 2 episodes, and then they said, okay, we're going to give you a show. I mean, that's a lot to handle. And now he's in a different place. And, I mean, that whole, like I said, they did offer a 2-year extension after the 7 years, and he didn't want it. And so he probably just did it a year-by-year basis until the studio said otherwise. And who knows, maybe the studio at one point was discussing a season 10. They probably did. But I don't know. And I think with the shooting schedule, as we discussed on Canada's show, on his channel, we had discussed about potential extension of these 13 episodes to do more. That may occur, but there is, unless there's a major shift and turnaround, there is no season 10. It's not going to happen unless there's a major change.
I don't think an extension happens now that they've so publicly stated there's 13 episodes.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, remember a couple nights ago I was on your show. Excuse me.
What do you do?
I burped. I was being polite. We were talking about Gotham, how they were supposed to. They said we're doing.
Right, you did bring that up as an example,
and the thing I would add to the whole 15 episode thing is that he could be contracted for 15, but they only use him for 13 because not that I want to mark much attention to the situation, but if you all remember what happened with Superman Lois during season 1, there was the situation with the fired producer, writer, and the show, and they released a set of NDA notes that you're not supposed to release, but in those notes it said they have title for 18 episodes every season, but they do 15 because that's a season order. So they could easily, if they say, you know what, we want to do 2 more episodes, we have grant for 2 more, we can use them. So it's not impossible. And as because I feel like all I've done this whole week is just talk to people about Warner Brothers and DC and Discovery, and I'm so fucking tired of it because I have not focused on anything else. So, but I was in a conference call on Wednesday night. Talked to some sources. Based on what they had told, the Zaslav had nothing to do with just like axing Flash. This seemed more like they discussed, and in the end they all agreed that this is probably the best year to end it. So until the act of Zaslav decides to speak up his mind again, it.
Well, he's walking down that hallway, heading towards Superman and Lois. He's like, he's heading over there.
Yeah, man. He's probably tired of like seeing realities of leagues of superheroes.
Yeah, he's like,
he's probably pretty excited about that.
But as far as I know, from everyone, and this was like 4 different people who was like, Andy, are you high? Why would he do this? Like, no, this had nothing to do with it. This is more like they discussed things and they agreed this was the best choice. But if I would have been surprised if Grant was probably seeing a lot of stuff that has happened with CW this year and feeling that I would love to do season 10, but what if I sign on and I'm contracted for a whole year and I can't go book any other gigs? But they keep trying to decide, are we gonna? Yeah,
that's another thing. I don't think a lot of people understand that when you're locked into a contract, you can't go look for another job until you know that job is expired.
Yeah, so he doesn't want to be holding down to it. You never know; something could happen.
I'm not going to say the name of the actor, but there was an actor from a very popular Warner Bros. Show. When I met them at Comic-Con 3 years ago, they didn't know if their show was coming back or not, and they had not known for a couple of months, and they were very frustrated because they couldn't go and book other gigs. They're like, I've been waiting since, I'm not gonna say what month, but I've been waiting since, and I don't even know if I have a fucking job or not anymore. But I'm still, they are still contracted in what they were doing. So yeah, you're like
the amount of actors I've talked to, where I'm like, oh, I'd love to see you back for this, and they're like, oh yeah, I can't wait to be back. I'm supposed to be back next season, but nothing's guaranteed yet, and they have to look at, do I take this job for 15 to 30 days that might go nowhere, or do I take this new job that might go on for 7 seasons? And if they look and they're like, this job has a potential longer runtime, that other show is losing out on that actor. Happens all the time. And the business side of like an actor signing a contract is so limiting to what they can and can't do on other projects. So yeah, as you point out, like Grant, yeah, he might have signed on a 2-year deal, and then if they decide to pull the plug on it, but don't officially cancel it for like 3 months, he's sitting there for 3 months, unable to make any other scheduling decisions on a new show or even go on vacation. Like he has to sit there in limbo and wait and find out if he's got a job. So
he's going on vacation in that video, and because he knows he has to be back by a certain date to shoot, but he's on vacation now. But if they didn't tell him, it'd be like he has to wait around.
Yeah, I remember when Tom Holland, when his contract came to a deal, came to a head. I think he said something like, "Well, now they're not under contract anymore. I can do like more physical stuff because he has, that's how deep because like there's like I know Tom Welling couldn't. There was a lot of things he was not allowed to do physically because afraid of getting hurt. I'm sure Stephen Amell had, not that Stephen Amell would listen that much, but
Yeah, exactly. But like I know that from back in the day when I used to do sports. Sports contracts back in the day, nowadays they're a lot more lenient because entitlement. But back in the 80s and 90s, players' contracts were very strict about things you could not do. You could not go skiing. You could not go off-road racing. You could not go and do a whole pile of things where you could get a severe injury and be a liability to the team. And I am sure actors have many clauses similar to that in theirs,
Before I let you guys go, I'm going to talk to the chat for 1 second and say that there's a similar nasty argument going on right now. I'm going to tell everyone to chill the fuck down. It's Friday night. It's been a long week for all of us. David Zaslav, it has been cutting all of our souls, and I have barely any soul left. I cut all my hair today.
David Zaslav sent the Discovery Public Relations manager here.
There you go. So I'm going to tell the chat right now I'm ordering you. Drop it. Move on. Talk. We can talk about anything else, but you all need to stop talking about this.
The thing that's going on.
Not from the before.
Jennifer, thank you so much for the super
Thank
chat.
you.
I'm sad I'm going to miss it. I will always love it, and it has its faults, but I will always love it. And it's the end of the Arrowverse. Earth Prime, yeah, I feel like ever since Arrow left, even though the Flash has still been good, it just wasn't the same. Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, but I mean, we're with you because we thought this was going to be the main topic for this episode. No, it was not. No, it was not.
Yeah,
I said the same thing on Wednesday when I had. Was it Wednesday or Tuesday when I had mine? Wednesday. I said the same thing. I'm like, oh, the Flash news. I can carry a whole show on that. And then I had to put that mostly to the back burner that day because of the Warner Brothers stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
I think for me, it's very bittersweet because I mean, I'm sure. I mean, you both know this to death. I think people in the chat know this as well. But this show, was, I was already, my career had already started, but this was really that put me more on the spotlight, and and I have lots of things to say, and on Twitter coming up shortly. So, if you had fun with me on Thursday, you will probably be sobbing next time I tweet anything. But it's very bittersweet. But I'm glad that the Flash gets to go on its own terms, and that, and I know people, and what I'm also a little tired about is that people keep using the Flash getting to end on its own terms as like an excuse to say, well, why, Legends should have gone, then in that Legends should not have ended on a cliffhanger. Just saying, I miss Legends too, but come on, out of all the seasons to do a cliffhanger on, you're gonna do it in your season 7 finale when your network is in this weird position. So I'm excited to see what we learn about season 9 as we start filming soon, and I'm hoping that I hope COVID doesn't prevent things from happening. I hope they get to just have an easy rolling final season, and that really honors the past, present, and theoretical future of the show. And there was will necessarily be over after the Flash because it will be the Arrowverse Multiverse saga, and then Kevin Feige is going to be like, we said that first, we're suing you. It's very bittersweet, but I'm glad 9 season, 184 episodes is a huge successful one. Grant is joining the great legacies of someone like Tom Welling, and Smallville's major run, and with Supernatural, and Stephen Amell's Arrow still remains number 2 under the Flash. So I'm gonna be petted that way.
Yes. Ready to jump into Q&A?
Let's do some Q&A. Jordan, do your song.
Q&A. Ask us questions or we'll fucking leave.
That's what he does, TJ. He started asking politely, and then
I get serious.
Did you get Metallica to write that or something like that?
Yeah. They're writing a version for me to play next week.
Okay. Good.
Jennifer with a super chat. Pick one to be canceled: Justice League the animated series or Suicide Squad. I'm guessing that's what Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad. The animated series.
This is such an interesting combination.
It's interesting for sure.
I mean, maybe probably Suicide Squad because Justice League the animated series was just so
amazing.
Iconic. Yeah. Iconic. Yeah.
Okay. It is definitely an interesting combination. We definitely had a lot of people commenting about Batgirl and everything, and Gotham Knights. People are saying now we only have Gotham Knights. We don't just have Gotham Knights. We also have Superman and Lois. Even though I'm assuming they're not going to say what Earth Gotham Knights is even on, anyways. Because would they go into what Earth it's on? I doubt it. 699 Arrowverse. Is that how many episodes there'll be after the Flash season 9? Is that true?
Sounds like it.
A lot of episodes.
I read somewhere too that it'll end at 699, which is criminal that they wouldn't do a 700th.
Maybe
they'll do a wrap-up movie.
There you go.
That would be
Jennifer
something.
Spectacular Spider-Man instead, Andy.
Oh,
that makes sense. I can't pick. I love both.
Yeah.
Okay, good questions. East Move. We have the public relations guy here.
Okay, so sir, what
the
what
And
kind
for
of
the 10 years.
content and strategy are you lining up for these first 10 years, as it comes to linear, theatrical, and streaming?
I am so glad you asked.
Oh,
So
thank you.
for the first 9.5 years, what we plan to do is nothing. And then in the back half of the 10th year, we are going to come out with the 90 Day Fiance verse.
Right.
We have the 90 Day Fiance Endgame movie. And then we're going to do a 90 Day Fiance animated series. And those are coming out before the end of the 10-year plan.
Right. Are you confirming any post-credit scenes for each installment? I can't do it with a straight.
Yeah. There is going to be one in one of them. I can't say which one, but Mr. Zaslav himself will show up.
With his axe?
Cut a little bit out of the print comic section of DC Comics, where he's just going to take out everything and leave you guys with the rest.
Now, see, I read a report from a reputable site called We Got This Covered, and they said that there is going to be a post-credit scene with Zaslav with his axe taking it to the Batgirl reel and destroying it on camera.
That's a little wrong. It's actually a chainsaw.
Oh, okay. He used a chainsaw instead.
Yeah.
Well, a follow-up to that I have to ask is that the latest allegations against Walter Hamada that came out today. What is the studio's comment at this time about his disappointment with the direction of Batgirl, and are you planning to work with him in the foreseeable future?
At this time, we don't know who a Walter Hamada is.
Jesus.
I've never heard of him. Don't know him.
He's the he is the head of DC Films that Ray Fisher has.
The head of DC Films is David Zaslav.
Okay. So would you say that this Hamada figure is a myth at this point, and that the press has not?
Yeah, whoever William Harambe is just made that up, and I'm not even going to distinguish. I'm not giving that any air. I'm sure he's making up everything.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay. We have
honestly, there's no. I can't believe that. Like,
which part?
Him being like, you know what? I'm done with this company.
after I think he greenlit Batgirl. It's probably why he's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
You guys canceled one of my movies.
Well, I mean, listen. I mean, for me, as sad as Batgirl's cancellation is, if this means that we can get that roach out of Warner Brothers, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Bitch.
Arya is the best. I just finished summer school this week. Awesome. Can finally catch up on reading what exactly? What are you reading? And then this news drops after my exam. My favorite Blue Beetle. I think we had discussed that during the Batgirl and also the segment about Warner Brothers call, which of course this guy, he was on the call. You just didn't hear him speak. He was behind the scenes making sure everybody was following.
I should have called in and asked something about the CW. I really should have.
You should have.
Davis, first of all, y'all, can I just say something? Listen, I never met the man, but he's so monotone. Like, you won't even believe it. Like he first started reading off, and then I can clearly tell he's reading off something to open up the conference call. But then anytime he was speaking, it's like, we looking at diverse content from the greatest storytellers that are possible. I'm like, bitch, can you be a little more excited? Like what are you?
See, I had to have this conversation with a couple of people, and I know you understand, but I'm just going to explain it for people in the chat too who might not understand. This isn't Comic-Con. They're not there hyping up things. There's no balloons and fireworks going off behind them. There's
I don't even know what you're talking about.
A piece of data to people whose only interest in any of these properties is how much money is this going to make me. That's all they care about. These are a bunch of old, crotchety white dudes whose only interest in these properties is, will I be richer because of it? So him going out there and promoting it like this is a convention was never going to really be a thing. But I mean, I understand not everybody on every part of the platform understands that, because they never hear the back end of this. I think this is probably the first time 99.8% of the people ever even knew a conference call was a thing. let alone paid attention to it. So,
Well,
yeah,
also it
I
didn't
just
help
wanted to
that
put
we
that out
had
there.
false narrative from the disgraced Rudolph going on and being like, "This has happened, this has happened, this has happened." I'm just like,
and
y'all,
that promoted the call
I
and everything.
have to begrudgingly give her one prop. She did say that they were merging the streaming services. She might have been wrong about 38 other things, but she got
Yes,
one thing
yes.
right.
she said that it was being folded into. She used the word folded
Folded,
in.
yeah, like
But
it was
that is
But
what's
you
going
know,
to happen. That is what's going to happen.
right, but folded in and combining two services is, in my professional opinion, it is two different things. And she was she was the one spewing the whole thing that scripted programming was going away. So and again, that's why I'm like,
yeah, that's the one thing that scared a lot of people, and people are spreading that around. And people are saying, "Yeah, we're hearing scripted stuff is going away to unscripted, which is more of like your Food Network, Animal Planet type shows that are not scripted stuff. They just go out and shoot, and then they just put it together." But they didn't mention that at all. It was not mentioned. Doesn't mean it. They could cut down on some scripted content for right now, but there was nothing.
well, there was one comment he made. Hold on, let me bring up my friend. I can't even open my Twitter because everything is.
She's reading the Fire and Blood novel from George R. R. Martin, which is House of the Dragon is based off of Fire and Blood.
We have, let's see. One reporter asked at one point that he said that he was aware of rumors of shutdown of scripted programming, and that they are not looking at that as the truth at all. That they're looking very much at HBO Max being a very HBO Max programming still being a very key part in their strategy, but they're like more will be unveiled going forward as we get into next summer.
Yeah.
Jennifer with another super chat. Thank you so much. I feel like this is about the final episode of The Flash, saying that she wants Barry and Irish should die. Wally takes over, and they go to the afterlife and see Oliver and Felicity in the afterlife that we saw in the Arrow finale thoughts.
And they interrupt Oliver and Felicity's afterlife wedding.
Yes.
He's
gone.
Bye, Andy. Oh no, Andrew's gone.
Dude, that is so. I didn't even think about that, but they get payback, right? They get payback on Oliver and Felicity screwing over their wedding at the end. What was it? Earth X? Was that the one it was? Yeah.
The Earth X. Yeah.
It's freaking amazing.
I think I broke Andrew.
Andrew. Yeah, I think you did. He's done. He's gone. He turned into a ghost, everybody. He's gone. And I like actually seeing behind him. You see the Smallville set there. You see the Green Lantern. You see the Funko Pops, all that. The Arrowverse poster over his TV. It's got some cool stuff. I got a bunch of just books here. That's all I got.
Yeah. I have wall upon wall.
Wall upon wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got a ton of books here and stuff I need to read. Yeah, he's not gonna come back. He's throwing stuff now. Andy, come back. Since we have the Discovery Public Relations Manager, come on back. Come on back.
This ain't all right, y'all.
No, come on back. We have a question from Jordan. Jordan Kent has a question that's very important to our Discovery Public Relations Manager here. Okay. He wants to know, can you tell us when we're going to get that Cecile spinoff, because everyone loves that character? Can you give us a shoot date, a release date?
I don't know if I have the authority to talk about it, but I can confirm as of right now, the Cecile verse is in the starting phases. We're going to start on the big screen first.
Okay.
She is gonna just get everybody's powers and create some new ones. She's just gonna she's gonna sit there and be like, I'd like to have this power, and then she'll just have it.
Really?
Because that's how amazing she is.
So she gets Barry speed.
We're right now just trying to finalize the numbers for how much we're gonna need to pay her per episode to come on board. We're looking at the possibility of like $2 million an episode. But we're hoping that'll be the number that gets her on board.
When the movie's theatrical, when the show airs, is it going to be for the new streaming service, or is it going somewhere else? Can you tell us?
It's actually going to be done as a play in a park in Kazakhstan. You'll have to see it there. And it's going to tie into everything, so you have to see it.
It won't be filmed, so you have to be there in person. And
Yes.
Are you selling tickets for this play?
Oh, of course. You're only going to be able to buy. There's going to be 2 tiers of tickets. There's going to be you only get to watch one act of the play tickets, and then the premium package where you get the whole play. The one act tickets will be $1,500, of course.
Of course.
Because we want to make it affordable for the everyday person.
Yes.
The premium package, of course, is $52,000 because we understand only the biggest fans would really want to see this, and that's why we're charging so much.
I really hope there's probably one person out there who would actually pay that much money to watch something like that. There's gotta be at least one.
Of course there is, because that's why we're making it for Victor in Bulgaria that asked about this. He wrote us a letter, very nice letter. It was beautifully written in nice italics, and we thought that was important. And we're just like, you know what, this guy he's the heartbeat of our fandom. We're gonna make what he needs. You should hear some of the other projects he has. Like the Donna Smoke spinoff is going to be off the wall.
I can't wait for that. I'm actually gunning for a guest role in that show.
I'm also proud to announce I just got the word right now. We have a new series. What's this? Sam Lane speeches. Ooh, interesting. Cool. We're gonna have a new series about that.
Oh my god.
I'm excited. Are you?
Everyone should be.
We have a super chat from Scott Edwards. Thank you so much for your super chat. No reason Sarah, Jefferson, and Kari can come back to help in the final battle against the final villain. Well, there's the yes and no. The no part is Eric Wallace, if he has to bring back Sarah Lance, he has to bring back all the Nat Legends, because for some reason Legends Mar decided to end on a cliffhanger where we don't know where the fuck any of them are.
I sort of disagree with that. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I did.
No, I actually literally finished a sentence.
So I kind of disagree with that, because the one thing they could do, this is if they have the permission to wrap up Legends content. That would be the biggest cliffhanger of bringing Sarah in, is if they've got the permission to wrap Legends content. If that's allowed, then yeah, they could bring her in, and I think it's very simple. They're just like, oh, what have you been up to? And she just gives a 40-second speech like, oh, we got arrested, this happened, this is how we got
from Ant-Man.
You know, we don't see the content, we just hear about it.
But here's the thing. The biggest nightmare with that is that all the Legends fans are going to come and bitch and attack Eric for being like, why did you do this to our show? Once again, here's the thing. I don't need Eric Wallace to take care of Legends when his job is only to take care of the plot. I am like, here's the thing. You all had 7 seasons. Those showrunners made their choices to end on a cliffhanger. I'm sad it got canceled, but it wasn't like Mark Pettit was like, y'all, you know what y'all need? You need to put Booster Gold there and then have them all arrested by time cops. That, like, he didn't even not say that at all. That was those showrunners and those writers decided that's the way to end it. When they knew when you're in a show in your 7th year, that could be it for you. So when it comes to Jefferson Pierce, I think if Chris is available, he will show up. With Tyler, you know, it depends on which one they want to do. If they want to do Earth Prime Superman, or if they want to do Superman from, I'm just gonna say Earth 1 because I don't know what the fuck their Earth number is. Earth 1, I just need.
Do you think they'll ever tell us if they'll ever figure that out or no?
I mean, probably through another dumb General Lane speech. You know, I did a lot of math in my time of ZOD, and I learned that 1 + 1 = 11. And what I learned is that this
Hold on. I just heard 2 days ago that 1 + 1 = 22.
I mean, you know, and we heard
that's probably more accurate.
And we heard 24 hours ago that one of our Discovery wants diverse content, and 3 days before canceling Batgirl.
Yeah, so I don't believe that.
I can't believe the word diversity was used by them.
They said it. He said it so many times, and I'm sitting there just live tweeting. I'm just like.
I put out a tweet as soon as I saw your tweet about it, and I pulled up the Princess Bride meme, but I don't think you understand what that word means. And I was just like,
I did see that. I can't find it.
Never has that been a more perfect thing.
I hate video. Elizabeth said, "I hate videos saying Flash was canceled."
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, don't support them
yeah,
or any article
yeah.
saying it.
You don't. A show that goes into its 9th season isn't canceled. It is ending. A show that ended on a cliffhanger and got canceled is, oh Christ and the Lord, no. What?
The Flash died so the Cecile spinoff could walk. That is fucking fantastic.
I wasn't supposed to talk about this, but that's why we're canceling The Flash. And yeah, we canceled it. They didn't even know they were ending. But
Wow.
season 9 is actually not even taking place now. We've turned it into The Flash backdoor pilot episode.
Now, I heard rumblings today from my sources over at We Got This Covered that the other Sarah actress is going to be having her own spinoff. They're going to bring her back on another Earth situation. How is that going to work? Are we going to see Stephen Amell, or is it going to be to where we just don't see any of the cast of Arrow in this new show?
Well, on the new one, sorry, I was spelling something and I misspelt it.
I'm pretty sure you're getting more news from your sources right now.
Obviously. Yeah, so on the new spinoff that the original Sarah actress is going to be on, first of all, it will be exclusive on Discovery Plus Max.
Oh.
And I'm not supposed to say anything, but it's going to be a crossover with The Bold and the Beautiful because we feel those two shows have common threads. So she will be playing her character in The Bold and the Beautiful, Steffi Forrester Lance. And
Lance.
it will consist of her, and we will have the actor that plays whoever her boyfriend or husband is on The Bold and the Beautiful being Oliver Queen.
Junior.
Senior. And that is going to start production yesterday. It's kind of quiet. We've got a hidden lot that nobody knows about. And I don't have more words for that because I almost told you too much.
Well, then let me show you the beauty of this image.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we lost because the public relations guy here was very adamant on canceling this movie. He saw this shot in particular and said, "Nope, we got to cancel this shit."
So the thing that no one knows about this shot, is it's fake news. This never even
in the
was
window
filmed.
behind him.
We don't even know what a Batgirl is. Never heard of it. I keep hearing all these rumors there was a Batgirl thing coming out, but I have never heard of it. This is just 3 people at Comic-Con dressed up as their favorite characters. Batman, smaller, and
they're basically the same height. They're basically the same height. What do you want? That director is... Oh my god!
Sir, you're interrupting the I don't know what my title is anymore. You've got me so frazzled.
Discovery Public Relations Manager.
Thank you, sir. So we have Batman, and then on the other side we have smaller Batman, and then in the middle we have Red Foo Batman, and they are there to be the Batmans of the future.
Was
a paragon?
Was this a shot taken out of Crisis on Infinite Earths?
A paragon.
This is a cut scene you did not get. I'm sorry, but we decided on cutting that scene, and then there was one with some guy. His name was like Tom Willing or something like that, and he was going to be in like a red and blue suit with an S on the front. It was a weird cape he had on too, but we just decided against it.
Yeah, just cut that. That doesn't sound good.
Yeah, because what we needed was more Bebo in it, so we had time restraints.
The fact that throughout their 7 years, they could not even find one fucking year to produce any B1 merchandise. It is. I almost said something I was not supposed to, so never mind. Go on. But it's weird. It's dumb.
Yeah, someone saying what could have been, sad face. Yeah, it's a whole mess.
I forgot. Miss Laura E in the chat here has just reminded me we do have one more announcement that just broke recently, and that is there will be an All Great and Chester spin-off show coming. Fans have been asking for this. It starts at the Chegra wedding.
Of course it does.
And yeah, it's just going to be about them chilling and having their life. No superhero stuff. We don't need any drama. This is going to be totally drama-free. Just them awkwardly staring at each other and doing things.
Sounds successful to me. I was like, what's happening? Oh, he's playing the clip.
I want to see Canada react to this from me during Crisis.
What is going? Were you like?
Well. I have never been so petty during an Arrowverse crossover as I was that night, but I'm happy I was.
Were you trying out for the Joker there or something?
Yeah.
Well, Joaquin stole that role from me, so what the fuck was I supposed to do?
Now,
don't worry, we are going to be recasting the Joker for Joker 2 Plus. And we are looking for someone who may be balder. They need to also possibly know how to do a podcast. So if anyone knows anyone out there, I'm willing to listen to input on that.
That's
my response is
that means you haven't known the triumphs and defeats, the epic highs and lows of high school football, but you will.
He knows how to do podcast.
He knows how to do podcast.
unless you want someone else for that role. I mean, you could always go with this guy. Or
I think that you leave a trail of bodies every damn place that you go.
I'm talking about the guy at the very end who did not say anything.
Like clip redo time.
I was going to ask a question because I got sent this, and Discovery Public Relations Manager, I want to verify, is this from a post-credit scene of Batgirl, or is this from a multiverse angle we were unaware of? I'm going to play this. It's very quick, but someone sent me this, and I'm kind of nervous about it.
Suit me up, Uncle Alfred.
What? Jordan.
Is that from the after credit sequence of the movie?
Jordan.
I am not at liberty to discuss our de-aging technology and how we got Alicia Silverstone to look 25 again. But I can say that we're very proud of the 14 movies she signed on for. It's going to be amazing.
I love how you said that too.
Obviously, this particular comment didn't age too well.
This is going to be used. That clip is going to be used till the end of century of how
we have a lot of clips.
Yeah,
we played the majority of them already, but still.
Let's see. Let's see if there is.
Let's go for a little bit longer, and we'll call it.
Let's see what. There's so many of them.
What a line. Discovery Major, can you confirm Chester and Allegra and Emunet and Goldface are going to have a double death in the Flash series finale? I don't think so, because if Allegra and Chester are getting that spinoff, they're not going to die.
Well, Allegra isn't. All Great is.
Oh.
I don't understand. Why don't we just say Chalegra? I don't understand it.
It's Chegra.
Get it right.
I don't know why you are so insistent on being wrong all the time.
I don't know why the show even insisted on making this romance when nothing happened at the end of the season between them. Whatever. I just,
Look, it's a show that's centered around a almost brother-sister combo being in love the whole time, so
that sounds like a good storyline. I would take Cheryl as the Flash because
Cheryl can become the Flash of Riverdale. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. The Flash, I mean, from Riverdale's finale, they
Well,
said you did your own crisis.
if Cheryl became the Flash, she would have to be the Wally West version because she's got the red hair.
Yeah. There you go. Fans can finally get their fucking red hair.
Right down, we're getting scoops right here. Getting them scoops.
Let me see what people let's see what else people are saying. I feel like it's just questions for the public relation.
We didn't actually talk about real quick about what I'm doing. We didn't actually talk about that.
Oh, well, you want to take the floor?
Sure, I'll take the floor. Well, essentially put, it's going to be a long task, but I'm writing a book. We'll see how that goes. I'm writing a novel. I have all these stories sitting on my computer and stuff that I've had ideas for in terms of films. I'm turning one of them into a book. We'll see how that goes. I'm in the process of doing it now. And no, it's not about the Flash. It's not about any of the spinoffs the Discovery Public Relations managers talked about today. It's a wholly original story that I came up with about 2 years ago for a short film that we never made before everything. So yeah, so I'm just sitting on all these stories. A memoir. Yeah, I need a memoir. That's what it is. Guys, you figured me out. I'm lying to you. It's a memoir. And the forward is going to be written by Canada over here. He's going to talk about all the chainsaws that I have not reacted to.
It's true. You still, I am going to hold this to you. You still have to react to Peacemaker just so we can get your chainsaw reaction to the chainsaw.
Gotcha. What genre will your novel be? I'm not ready to say just yet, but it's fiction. It's not nonfiction. No, not doing any studying for this crap.
It's a Chegra fanfic.
Fernando, this would not have made a single amount of sense.
It would have. Fernando understands everything.
I mean, the CW is a thing in the Jane Divergent universe. That means that the Flash is a TV show in the Jane Divergent universe. So then what you could have had is Grant showing up as just Grant.
That's the title. You figured out, Jordan. Stop hacking into my computer.
Do you think? I know, but I'm just asking you guys. So obviously, do you think that we will see any of the 90 Day Fiancé cast come over to the Arrowverse?
That's the crossover idea that Eric talked about months ago. He wanted to do. He just couldn't say it. That's the one he talked about.
Somehow we're just
that was on their placard of things to be proud of.
Yes, because it's popular. That's why it gets a lot. A lot of people. I don't know why people watch that crap.
Anthony Q&A is technically right now. I just we just
going on for about 20-30 minutes. Yeah.
I'm gonna scroll up and see if I see something. This really just became about
Arrowverse shit, which is
not Arrowverse. No, it became questions for the public relations manager for Discovery.
I mean, he has all the answers. He knows what's going on.
I just want to say a disclaimer: in the real world, if they spoke this much, they would have been fired by now. Sadly, because
he can't be fired. He's David Zaslav's son. He can't be fired.
No,
I must have missed that part.
Silly chainsaw. Not his son.
Oh, you're not. Are you his father?
I am actually Mr. Discovery.
Oh, you're Mr. Discovery.
Yes,
you're the guy behind the scenes that no one sees. You're actually the real leader of Warner Brothers Discovery, is what you're saying.
I am Mr. Discovery.
And David Zaslav takes your call because you tell him what to do.
Yeah.
We have a question for Kakashi Productions. For the last episode of Flash, do you think it's warranted we get one last team up with Greener and the Flash? You can't end the Arrowverse without them two together, whether it be Earth 2, etc. I mean, first of all, Earth 2, Oliver died. Well, actually, Actually, we don't know what happened to All One Earth 2 after Stargirl because apparently there's that photo of him and Roy wearing, I mean, obviously different actors playing them, but wearing like literally Robin Hood costumes in the JSA photo, not the JSA photo. Oh my God, the Seven Soldiers of something. I think Steven will. I think if Steven is free, I don't know when. Because Canada, we were talking about this the other day. I don't know when season.
I gotta dip for a second. I'll be back though.
Okay, cool. No worries. I don't know if whenever season, if it's season 2 or season 3, whenever that's filming, but I'm sure it would shock me if somehow Stephen Amell, when it's as Oliver's, like a kind of a ghost, if it's a specter, whatever, and so on, if he wouldn't be there in some capacity, even if they had to film like scenes out of heck, for all. Let's just put this in in a very absurd scenario that could honestly happen. Let's say that Steven. Let's say they're gonna wrap the finale by Mars, and Steven cannot film by Mars, but they know what scenes they want to use him for. So they say, "Well, how about you come and just film? We have already written it. How about you come and film it in February?" And maybe they just do it like that. That could theoretically happen. But I don't know where anything is filming right now. I don't know what he's supposed to be doing right now.
I think he's filming Hill season 2 right now because he was training for a bit, and there was rumor, and it all started because of him posting online about him training and being places he's not at home.
Oh, he was in Vancouver because he was like doing that's okay.
Things he was posting where they didn't know where he was, but they were kind of thinking maybe he's shooting because the Flash is still shooting, so they were thinking he's not shooting for Hills yet, so he could be over there shooting for the finale of Flash. You never know. So I think it's very, very likely that because since even though their shows are still going on at the time, so they were easy to get there. But during the final episode of Arrow, spoilers, Barry and Kara both showed up at his funeral. Now, obviously, very different situation, but I think Steven would go back because Steven has talked very highly of Grant for the longest time since they first met.
That bitch loves him.
Steven loves Grant, and Steven has always been there for Grant, and they've always had a great relationship, and they've always talked about their different perspective shows and how they both handle being the leads on their shows. So I feel Steven would come back, and I feel like they would find a way for it to work. I think Hill shoots in Atlanta, so he would have to fly up.
I couldn't find where the fuck they're filming at. So because I was like, look on the Wikipedia page. Let me look one more time. Season 2 has wrapped.
Okay, so they already shot it.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Steve to come back because there's something I specifically need to ask him. Thanks for the super and Jordan books obviously about. Well, I mean,
stop reading stop hacking in my.
I don't know who would ever want to fucking write right up for DC. That's Jesus Christ. CG. Okay, so apparently season 2 of Heels has already wrapped. They haven't even announced season 3 of Heels. So because I said one scenario that they could be doing, and so let's say that Eric Walls has already written the scenes, but Steven can't film the series finale in Mars. But he'd say, okay, can you come and film in Mars? Theoretically, he could do that, and then they just put that scene in the series finale and so on. Because they do shoot out of order sometimes,
Yeah.
No matter how exhausting it is. So I mean, do you see him? Do you see him coming back?
If his schedule allows it, I 100% see him coming back in some way, shape, or form. I think for a few reasons. Obviously, the show knows that it would get a good buzz, and because Steven just can't resist the idea of sticking his nose out there into a project if he can. I think he's been very eager to get back, and they just have not been able to work it out. Because first it was a pandemic, and then now his show kind of films around the same time. I think he's been very eager to come back in, and scheduling hasn't worked for him yet.
And scheduling might work for him now because I don't know when Hills is going to start airing, but they waited until after season 1 had completed airing before announcing season 2. So they realistically, he could be just kind of chilling. Or whatever.
I just looked up. There's no set premiere date yet. All is that they have finished filming. So
it might start airing at the end of this year. So he could realistically, while the episodes are airing, he could fly over and shoot it, and no one. And I mean, Canada would find out, but I don't know if it would be he could try to be under the radar.
The funny thing would be if he actually because they this wouldn't be unheard of is if they wrap the series finale, but then whatever Steven's part is in the finale is shot with Grant in LA in studios that were like, you know, nothing.
Yeah, the only question on that would be depends how tight their timeline is between when the series wraps and when the episode airs. Because for them to do that in LA without having to pay any penalties here, the studio has to be wrapped in Vancouver, which doesn't happen for a month after the show ends. So end of March, what's dates on it? March 14th, I think. So mid-April would be the earliest he could film in LA without them having to pay penalties. I don't know when the air date for it would be, but that would be pretty tight.
All I keep knowing is that it's like it is late winter, early spring, because like there's no way in hell this show is coming back in January, because because the one thing I know that Eric, because I asked him, like, I mean, because you guys are coming back next year, does that mean we may have less hiatus? And like that is something they're seemingly trying to have as a goal. Now, of course, CW decides how they want to air things, but I'm pretty sure that for a final season, they probably want to do what they did with Arrow, is just air it 10 weeks, basically. I think maybe 1 week off because of Thanksgiving, but otherwise they
were very consistent with season 8 in terms of its airing. Even though there was only 10 episodes, so.
But season 8 was like, for me, like that was the best season since honestly season 5. Like I liked season 6 and 7 were fine, but 8 was just like the way I was excited for season 8 was how I was feeling in season 1 and 2, where like I wanted to watch and be awake every Tuesday and watch and make sure that I didn't miss anything. But it's, I'm sure he will be back in some capacity, because it would be just so weird not to have him there for the end, after all the, I mean. Because again, I think like if he gets told specific, you get that all your scenes are with Grant. I bet like he will fight his management to make it happen, to make sure that I want to be in this, because like that's why I've always been shipping Flaro secretly. On my side, that's
I mean it was obviously Smallville's success helped build and get all these shows to kind of go, but it was Arrow that caused, of course, the Flash, and then everything kind of spinning off from that. So it makes sense to have them again, because literally Barry first appeared on Arrow. So it makes sense for Oliver, whatever capacity it is, whether it's a flashback to a scene we've never seen before, that would make sense in the story that we see. It's like in the timeline before his death, but it kind of makes sense. Or if it's a ghost thing or something, like he's in the Speed Force, he sees the Speed Force embody as Oliver. I don't know. Any way they could do it, I think it would be awesome.
I will kind of cringe if they do it as a flashback, because then that means that we have to do awkward makeup. We have to try and make sure the hair looks like they used to look in season 1 and 2 or 3, whatever they want to pull.
Well, I'm not even. I mean, they literally could say it's right before Crisis or something. Like there was some, like, I don't know. There could be many things. Because
what if they get him back and in the island hair?
Oh my god! And they don't explain it. He's just in the island hair.
Yeah, I like it.
There you go.
I leave Central City for 2 seconds.
He needs to be back.
I think Cisco will come back. I
would love to see Carlos come back, but I don't know how his filming schedule for his new show is, and I also don't know what network it's with. I mean, if it's a rival. If it's a rival network, they might not be willing to let one of their regulars just head on up for a week.
Well, here's okay. So it's called Gaslit. It's already premiered on Stars. It was only 6 episodes, and so like that is it's already done at this point. They finished airing the last episode in June, and so far there's been no words on season 2. So, but it was on Stars.
Got 2 super chats real quick. We're going to start winding down the show, guys. Katie Lotz will be in Canada close to the time of season 9 starts filming, so not impossible for Sarah to show up, but Eric has reached out. Why is she in Canada? She's shooting something?
She's doing a convention in Toronto.
But that's
Well,
but that's Toronto. That's not Vancouver.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm very aware.
No, I'm talking about
I think the point. I think part of the point he's saying though is her schedule is free at that time. She's finished with that Thailand movie. I don't know if she's got another movie set after that yet. I mean,
yeah.
she could have another job that she's not allowed to talk about yet. You know, that stuff happens all the time.
I mean, she could always come back to direct an episode of season 9. You never know. She already did in season 8.
Possible too.
Yeah.
For me, what makes me just hesitant against all that is just the fact that, because I don't want to hear from Legends fan complain about that, oh, you guys didn't, like Flash didn't fix this and so, but it's not Flash's job to fix anything with Legend. If they can, if they can bring them in, for sure, but I also don't want to take up, it's like, this is Flash's final season. It is not the final season of Legends Tomorrow or Batwoman or all the other shows that has been on. So this is the Flash's final season, and I don't want to waste it on. If they come in, they need to come in to serve as Barry's story. That's my, that was the Jennifer, you were talking about to brag, but I got to meet Tom Welling. I'm jealous of you as hell.
Jealous.
But to me, a good
also met Tom Welling.
But you both met Tom
in the
Welling.
in the bayou.
Oh Lord.
In the bayou.
But what I was gonna say is that when Smallville went into season 10. The mission of that season was to service Clark's final year before becoming Superman. We didn't have any time to set up this or set up that or anything that had to. For example, when Booster Gold showed up on Smallville, the point he had to do there was to make Clark realize that a dual identity is needed for him to be able to operate as, at the time, the Blur and Clark Kent, and. It was not to be like, oh, let's look at how awesome Booster Gold is in his timeline and so on. It's there, he's there to serve as a point. So if Flash is gonna have Sarah or any of the Legends show up, yes, if we can wrap up that storyline of them being captured within 5 minutes, I'm good with it. I don't want a whole graphic novels wasted on the Legends because it's their not fucking show. I'm done.
Good point. I think we'll just wrap it up here, guys. I mean, we've been going almost 2 hours. We want to thank you guys for being here, and thank you so much to the Discovery Public Relations Manager for being here.
Just remember, watch all of our new shows coming out soon. You will get them by 2032.
Make sure you guys are prepared, especially with the DC 10-year plan of 9.5 years of nothing, and then you're going to get a lot of stuff. The exact opposite approach of Marvel. So be prepared, guys. It's going to be a wild ride.
Marvel. I don't even think that's a real company.
I don't think so either. I hear rumors that they think they're real. Who knows? We want to thank you guys so much. Oh, just got picked up Young Justice season 1 and Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 in a box set. Oh,
that's awesome.
That's cool. That's cool. Awesome. No problem, Defunct. No problem. Who's your favorite member?
Thank you for that $15. We will put it to use on our new
ad-free subscription plan.
Yeah.
It's obvious. It's Billy, of course. It's Billy.
90
Days Justice League. Yeah, that's coming soon, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see.
We got Zack Snyder back to direct the 90 Day Fiancé season.
Wow.
It's going to be epic.
Suddenly, I'm interested.
Well, as you guys know, we end on the same clip that always has to end the show, and if not, it's not the end of the show.
Well, wait. We have another one. Thank you for the super.
Thank you.
Thank you, CG, for coming on. This was a hoot.
Thank you. And yes, tomorrow the Batman. Yes. We'll get. I'm going to be record. Not I already have recorded. I gotta edit it, so it's gonna be fun. But here we go, guys. The clip you all have been waiting for. Take it away. Cicada.
Metas killed your parents, Gracie. They all deserve to die.
Don't believe him, Grace.
This is the same showrunner who thought that this was the best villain they could come out with for Flash, and he gets rewarded a Superman show.
That's not even a front.
The scary part is for 2 years, we almost thought he was doing good with Superman and Lois.
And then everything
decided Sam Lane should say something.
Don't believe him, Grace.
And the fact that he thought the best idea to do was have a cult leader whose name is Allie, have it set in Smallville, not raising any red flags or connection to anything else in real world whatsoever.
To be fair, I think a very small percentage of people would have connected those dots.
But the dots were definitely connected, everybody.
You know what the cringiest part is? That her name in the comment is Alexandra. I'm like, why Ali? And have it be instead in small. Everyone have a great weekend. We will see you next week for episode 25 of Endless Multiverse. See if you think again.
No, that's not true. It's been acquired and ended.
Acquired. Sorry, guys, it's been acquired.
Okay. We will see you.
Tune in next week for the Ended Multiverse, featuring Ezra Miller and to be determined guest star that is Amber Heard.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Gracie.
You were too slow. You were fucking slow, Jordan.
Gracie. Ezra, no, Ezra.